Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Ian Saturday Night. Today was a very routine day. I just had an easy day, as Sunday is the day of rest. I woke up. I had dried mango and a little banana with whipped cream. I woke up around 11 because it's Sunday, and plus I don't have school yet, so I woke up kind of late, 11:30. I had my banana with whipped cream, and later on I had my usual lunch of New England clam chowder. I like New England clam chowder because it's easy to go down, and it's very convenient. I put it in a cup, and I just kind of slurped it right down. I like things that are easy and routine because whenever I have to deal with less gravity and less resistance, the better it is. And I find a resistance-less life is it's true in day-to-day business. And it's also true in relationships. I haven't quite mastered the art of a resistance-less relationship, but I'm working on it. Actually, I think in relationships, I find myself initially just going with the flow, and then some conditions are put upon me, and I have a fear of losing the relationship a lot of times, and for whatever reason, I have a knack of getting with of being attracted to people that have sort of dramatic energy. Perhaps I'm dramatic myself, but I think I'm very even keeled on my own. So you can think about that any way you want to, but in myself, I feel very mild-mannered, but in my heart, I feel very dramatic and theatrical, but in my outward world, I don't feel very dramatic. I think I have a feeling that the universe puts dramatic things upon me, and I just react. But maybe do I project that, or does it happen to me by happenstance and randomness? I have no idea, and I don't think it's for me to ask or know these questions. I just think it's for me to experience the life that I've lived, and the life that I can continue living. A lot of people have left the stage of life. I had a neighbor that just passed away. So Gladys, I know you're out in the spirit world, and Godspeed to you. And you'll come back. You're always around, and you'll come back again. So that's what I have to say about the cycle of life. I'm getting older. I'm 58, almost 59 years old, and a lot of people that I know have left the stage of life, and it's a awareness, but it's not I don't think it's a good thing or a bad thing. I just think it's the cycle of life, and I don't think people can tell me what they think. I mean no judgment here, or no disrespect, or no adamant opinion, but I think I don't necessarily think you go to another world or a negative place when you're dead. I just think you kind of move on, and that in a sense is heaven, because your spirit is recycled. And it comes back to goodness, perhaps in earthly forms. I don't know. It's a riddle. Life is a riddle, but I don't think you necessarily go to a bad place unless perhaps you're a gleefully nefarious person. Maybe you're a killer. Maybe that has a lot of energy force, and maybe you feel so shadowy about your life experience that you do go to another world. In other words, I think people can project where they want to go just by their thoughts. And that's what I thought about lately, growing up, even when I was younger. I think that perhaps the afterlife is a projection of our thoughts, and we go to heaven, or we perhaps go to the unmentionable place just by the projection of our thoughts. I think when somebody dies, it's probably not the same for every person. Probably you go to different places and different environments just because we're all different on the earth. And that might be esoteric and nonsensical to some of you that are listening to me, but that's okay as long as we exchange ideas. The passing of life is such a riddle that I feel that there's many interpretations, but the bottom line is I don't think you necessarily go to a really bad place unless unless there's something wrong with your makeup. And I'm not talking about your lipstick. That's a bad joke, but you get the idea. So I noticed that I laugh at my own jokes, and to some of you maybe that's annoying. It could be annoying, but I just go with the flow, and that's what I always do. When I was in a hospital, when I was 18 years old, I was in a hospital to try to bend my body straight. That didn't work out so well, as you can see. Now I'm a human pretzel. Only I can say that. But when I was in a hospital, it was a rehab clinic, a therapeutic. I think it was known as something called as a therapeutic clinic. So I was there 18 years old, and I was bullied, believe it or not, by people in the very same condition that I was. So I was bullied, and I tried to figure out why it was, but I don't think I had any rhyme or reason to it. I just think they're picking on me because I was the new kid or whatever reason. Because we're all in the same boat, but one kid banged his cane on the side of my bed and took great pleasure out of scaring me. And he had CP just like I did. So the world is crazy. The world is quite crazy, and I just have to go along with it and embrace the craziness, because that's all I can do. I go down Duval Street, that's the main street here in Key West. I go down Duval Street, and periodically people yell out Timmy to me because they think I'm very much like Timmy from South Park. At first, this bothered me quite a bit, but then I realized that they can't help it. It's the way they feel about themselves when they make fun of me. So I put that in perspective. And now I'm starting to calm down. As my listeners know, I can be very excited. Like a madcap version of Mr. Rogers is what I always say. I can be very hyper, but then I start to settle down like I'm doing. because at first I get excited being on my show, even though I've done many shows, but I get excited and I start talking a mile a minute, but then I begin to calm down. So I have to be mindful of that. It's very hard to do. So you just have to realize that we're all in the same boat, no matter if you have cerebral palsy or manic depression or bipolar or having a hard day or breaking your arm, or there's many things that life can throw at you, and you just don't know. So not everybody's gonna like you or me. Not everybody's gonna like each other, but we're all in the same boat, and that's what we have to think about, or at least be mindful of it. I don't know if it's important. I don't know if it's important to be. I've thought about this, but people can you can leave a comment and tell me your viewpoint. I'd be curious, but I don't think it's necessarily important to be intellectual or to have knowledge, but I do think it's important to be mindful and aware of other people's feelings, or at least to have curiosity, because it leads to imagination. And greater minds have said that. Einstein, I think, said it's better to have imagination than intellect. I mean, that's easy for him to say, I think, because he had a lot of brain power. But there's food for thought there, because if you're a brainiac or an egghead and you think about facts and figures, you could think in a linear way. You can think in a very linear way, and it stops you from thinking outside the box. When I was younger, I had trouble counting, so I had to buy special blocks to help me count. If I saw it concretely, I could picture the numbers in my head, the counting numbers, like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I don't know why I had a problem with numbers, but I think it's because of my cerebral palsy and my brain damage. So that's what I think. But I just had a normal Sunday. I didn't spend any money. This was a transaction-free day as far as money is concerned. For just to make a note of it, it's interesting to think about. I didn't spend any money today. And Andy Warhol in his diaries, he noted whatever he spent each day, and he talked about who he met, and he'd keep track of his finances that way. But I just think it's interesting that I went through the day without spending any money. But of course, you can't live your life. You can't quite live your life like that day after day, because we live in a capitalistic society in many ways. So I hope everybody has a wonderful week ahead, and a wonderful Sunday night, and keep Surrealism in your heart. Remember the spirit of Paul Eulard, the Surrealist poet, and I'll see everybody next week. Bye, everybody. Thanks for tuning in.